God's channel identified. What is God's channel to humans today? Is it one or more of the governmental world leaders? Is the Pope God's channel to man? Is it the Dalai Lama? Is it a recognized preacher? Is it a religious group? Is it a psychic, intuitive, or remote viewer? From my research, I could find none of these accurately interpreted the world's most horrific environmental disaster. Yet this disaster is part of a Bible prediction made about 2,000 years ago in Revelation chapter 8. I only found that Cliff High's Webbot report from March of this year predicted this major event. Another huge disaster also occurred, dumping over 800,000 gallons of crude oil in our U.S. river, also Bible fulfillment. China also had a huge oil spill and lost 150,000 gallons of chemicals, both into rivers like in Michigan. Huge populations have lost access to safe drinking water, and seafood also is becoming unsafe to eat. Many will die from these effects, and Revelation chapter 8 prophesied this. Who and where is God's channel today? No one has been able to give warning beforehand of prophesied events, at least no one of prominence. These prophesied events, and others too, like the columns of smoke in Iceland, were unseen by man because God kept them sealed up secret. God said in the last day all things would be unsealed in Daniel and Revelation. God would reveal his secrets to his servants in Joel. No one understood the secret of the number 666 at Revelation 13:8, though many had theories, almost without number. Only God could reveal this riddle. To me, he finally revealed his riddle, and confirmation or a second witness was at Zechariah 13:8. 666 is simply 2/3 of the number of men, or 2/3 will die at the battle of God. In March of this year, I was very troubled by the prophecy of the two witnesses in Revelation. It made me upset that the two only seemed to bring disaster. Don't we have enough disaster, I thought? After grieving 3 days, I started reading again about the two, and God put in my mind the answer. The two are not individuals or groups, but nations, the U.S. and Israel. In the same moment, he gave me understanding of the prophecy of the two. Later, he put in my mind to ask the question, who sends the two witnesses? This was a strange question because everyone assumes it is God. But after very carefully reading, I discovered the two are sent by the Lord of the earth. Later, God gave me insight into more prophecy. I came to understand that we are late into the 1290 days of Daniel. These 1290 days are the days before God's day of wrath. This being so, very soon the two witnesses, the U.S. and Israel, must war with the beast of the China alliance and die. I had calculated this would occur by mid-August 2010. I petitioned God for a more accurate date. After about 3 days, my wife had a dream. She did not understand it, but it was clear to me. She received a date in Hebrew. The date was 1825 AV. The war of the two and of the beast is prophesied at Revelation 11:7. The war is described at Revelation 9. The date, 1825 AV, I understood as 18 hours East Coast time, and 25 AV is August 5th. The Hebrew day starts at sunset, so the 18th hour would be 2 p.m. Eastern. But why were we given the hour? See Revelation 9:15. Who have been prepared for the hour and day and month and year to kill 1/3 of the men. This is verification that the dream was true. Consider this. Since April, up to 2 million gallons a day of tar, oil, and poisonous gases have been pouring into the Gulf. Over 1 million gallons of Corexit toxic poison has been sprayed over sea and land. Over 800,000 gallons of crude oil dumped into the Kalamazoo River. Could this be accidental? What if the U.S. government knows China is coming to take this country, and they cannot stop them? So they trash the country to decrease the prize of the Chinese. This makes sense. I believe it was prophesied, but I have not found the scripture. Maybe you will. It is said that there are more people in China who speak English than in America. There may be more women in the Chinese army than people in the U.S. I was at the Hilton one evening several weeks ago. A group of about 10 Asian men was finishing a meal at a Chinese restaurant there. The employees in the restaurant all gathered around the men and sang a song in Chinese. As the men left, I attempted to talk to them, but they all acted as if they did not understand me. The youngest pulled out his map of the Hilton complex and pointed at it as if trying to give me direction. I asked him if he was Chinese, but he shook his head no. I asked him if he was Japanese, and he shook his head yes. All of these men were the same height and had the same length hair. They aged from 20 to 40 years. I see many Japanese men visiting Hawaii, and they were not Japanese. Why did he lie about being Chinese? Who is God's channel today? The little girl walking through the store, the man who just read your electric meter, the lady selling hot food in a shop. Keep your eyes and ears open. You never know who has an important truth for you. You can be sure it's not the president, the pope, or anyone popular or famous. Those people work for the other side. Otherwise they would not be where they are. If God has a message for you, he most likely won't tell you personally. He will send someone, and you will listen if you are from God. Many people desire to have gifts of knowledge, dreams, visions, healings from God. These things have a price. Remember, all of God's prophets suffered. They were rejected by family and friends, ridiculed, insulted, humiliated, spit upon, struck, stoned, beaten, imprisoned, and killed. How many people could walk out their front door right now knowing that this is the price and never look back? No, people will not admire you, respect you, look up to you, believe you. Even when your prophecy comes true, they will still hate and despise you. Look, it happened to every prophet. Be patient. Appreciate what you have been given. Stay clean. Search for God's pleasure. Hate the bad. Grieve over wickedness. God will remember you. Update. As of today, September 13th, 2010, the China alliance has obviously not begun a visible invasion. Does this mean that it won't happen? Certainly everyone would like to think so. It was prophesied it will happen. The date 1825 AV? Could it be next year? Or could it have another meaning? I'm sorry that I told you it would come this August 5th, 2010, but I'm not sorry for giving a warning. Many people are giving up on God, and some are even making up a God of their own. I remember when this happened in the 1960s, but now things are worse. I wonder why things are not a lot better since the 60s. It was the beginning of the age of Aquarius, coming peace and enlightenment. Tell me, do you see peace and enlightenment, or the rebirth of what was born in the 1960s? Rather than feeling comfort at this current manifestation, I feel terror. For if what happened in the 60s was a sign of things to come,